up? This is my WWE Monday Night Raw thoughts and review of Raw that just went off there. And pretty much just give my review and thoughts on this just because it was like a special Raw. So anyone expecting me to do, you know, weekly Raw reviews, don't expect that. I pretty much only give, you know, my thoughts on Raw if something big happens, or, you know, they do a 3-hour special, or something like tonight where you had, you know, a special type stipulation for it where it was, you know, no commercials at all, non-commercial, commercial free. And overall, before this show, I was expecting this show to be a complete clusterfuck. I was not expecting anything from the show. I thought it was just going to be a complete bore of a 2 hours. But actually, this Raw really shocked me how good it was. If Raw was this good every week, WWE would be very good, and Raw would be probably one of the top shows if Raw could actually produce stuff what they did tonight on a constant basis week after week. But obviously this show did have some stars from SmackDown. Now, they were going to have stars from ECW, but they didn't have any ECW talent on this show. But overall, it was pretty solid Raw. Now, what it started off with, obviously with Donald Trump starting the show off with fairly short with him, so that was good, you know, short and sweet with him. Then after that, John Cena comes out there, pretty much introduces the fans to the commercial-free Raw. Then you see the Miz come out there after John Cena calls him out. You see a very good segment between John Cena and the Miz. I really overall enjoyed this segment right here. It was actually one of those segments that, you know, started the show and it went, you know, a little past 15 minutes, but it actually was, you know, a good, enjoyable segment. It's building up to a match that's happening at the Bash pay-per-view this coming Sunday, which should be a pretty interesting match. And I'm definitely interested to see how it's going to be. John Cena versus The Miz is going to be happening, so thankfully, you know, we're going to see John Cena in a match other than him taking on Big Show, and this is definitely going to do wonders for The Miz right here. Obviously, John Cena is going to go over this Sunday. I cannot see The Miz beating him, or if The Miz actually does beat him in a very, you know, he'll beat him, you know, in a way where, you know, he'll use, you know, hold on to the tights, use a weapon behind the referee's back, and just pin him that way. But I highly doubt that will happen. It would be kind of like the Jack Swagger match that happened a few months ago on Monday Night Raw, where it's pretty much a match to build someone into a star, and that's what it's going to do with Miz. I think it's, you know, going to be an enjoyable match, and I'm definitely looking forward to that match. Then after this, you got a SmackDown 6-man tag match here. You had Jeff Hardy teaming up with Khali and Rey Mysterio versus Chris Jericho, Dolph Ziggler, and Edge, with CM Punk on commentary. CM Punk, I was looking forward to him being on commentary a lot, but he really didn't chime in with that much commentary as I would expect him to do. He threw in a couple things, but not as much as I was expecting. But nonetheless, this was actually, you know, a good 6-man tag. You know, you saw some good stuff with Chris Jericho and Rey Mysterio, like always. Even the stuff Dolph Ziggler and Great Khali did with each other was actually somewhat enjoyable. You saw the one thing that probably most people were expecting them to do was obviously Rey getting on top of Great Khali's shoulders and doing a dive out to the floor. And Great Khali was actually going to start climbing up to the second rope and looked like he's going to do a dive, but Chris Jericho stopped him. And the end of this match comes after Jeff Hardy hits the Twist of Fate on Dolph Ziggler, then goes up and hits the Swanton Bomb on Dolph Ziggler for the win. Then after this match, CM Punk comes to the ring, holds up Jeff Hardy's hands, and pretty much, you know, in this way, he kind of, you know, outshined Jeff Hardy and pretty much stole Jeff Hardy's spotlight. So kind of another way to slowly build CM Punk up to being a heel. And I definitely expect this Sunday CM Punk and Jeff Hardy to be a very, very good match. Not only that, I see them either, you know, having him look like he's definitely going to be going heel, or maybe full-fledged heel by this Sunday, especially with some of the reactions he's been getting on recent SmackDowns. I definitely would love to see heel CM Punk, and I think most people would. So this was overall, you know, an enjoyable opener. You know, it wasn't long, but it was enjoyable, I would say. Then the next matchup was Primo Colon versus Cody Rhodes, and this was a match to pretty much build up to the Colones versus Legacy this Sunday, with the Colones taking on Cody Rhodes and Ted DiBiase, and that's actually, you know, should be an enjoyable match. I'm definitely glad, you know, you're finally getting a tag team title defense on pay-per-view, so that's something good to see. And the pay-per-view is not called Night of Champions, where they just have to have the titles on the line just so they can say we got a pay-per-view that has all the titles on the line. It's actually going to be 2 back-to-back pay-per-views. You're guaranteed that a tag team title is going to be on the line, so that's pretty good to see. This was a solid match here. I definitely like Primo a whole lot more than I like Carlito, just because he's a little more entertaining in the ring. And this is a very short match, and Cody does pick up the victory in this match. I think after he was using the actually what happened at the end of this match, Primo went up, hit a crossbody on Cody Rhodes, and Cody Rhodes just reversed into a pinfall. So that's actually one thing you do not see happen that much, with the end of the match happening that way in this day and age of wrestling. Then the next matchup was shockingly good. This was Triple H versus Randy Orton for the WWE Championship Last Man Standing match. Now, the ending of this match was a little weak, but it was an ending that I think most people were expecting. But this is a match, if they would have had this type of quality of a match on WrestleMania, I don't think that many people would have shit on that match as many people shit on the match they had at WrestleMania, because this was a very good match, and hopefully they do something good this Sunday, because they are going to be having another match this Sunday. Later on announced on the show, they announced it as 3 stages of hell, with the first fall being a regular match, the second fall being Falls Count Anywhere, and the third fall, if necessary, it will be a stretcher match. So if they can do what they did tonight in this match within those 3 stages of hell, I would say it should be a very good match, because this was definitely a good match. I mean, for a TV match, it probably got, maybe a little over 20 minutes, and I would say, even though most TV matches I wouldn't want to give star ratings, but if I actually did, I would probably give this, at least close to 3.5 stars, because I actually enjoyed the match. The ending might have hurt it a little, but you saw some good brawling, good back and forth action between those two. And the way this match ends, it ends on the stage. They're both pretty much beaten up. Triple H hits Randy Orton with the pedigree. Triple H is laying down, and they got a ladder that they pretty much looked like they were going to do some type of spot on the stage, but they didn't do it with it. It was just pretty much standing up, and Triple H tried to grab the ladder to get up before the 10 count. Neither one could answer the 10 count, so that's the reason why they're doing another match at the Bash this Sunday in 3 stages of hell. And if they can perform what they did tonight, it should be an enjoyable match. It should be very solid. Hopefully they can do 2 good back-to-back matches. I really enjoyed this Last Man Standing match, because I was not expecting anything from it at all. I was expecting this match to be completely utter shit, but it was actually enjoyable, I would say. Even with the ending of it being a little weak, they could have probably had a better, way they could have played off the whole neither man could hit the 10, get up by the 10 count. Would have worked better if they would have done kind of like what Rock and Mankind did back at St. Valentine's Day Massacre 99, where they both hit each other with a steel chair. It probably would have came off a little better if they would have done something like that. But nonetheless, it was an enjoyable match. It really shocked me how good it was, since I really haven't enjoyed any Triple H and Randy Orton matches, probably other than Backlash of 2008, where they had that fatal 4-way match after John Cena and JBL got eliminated. Them two took on each other for a little bit, and I think that match was even a Last Man Standing match. So these two do, I guess, work good in Last Man Standing matches. I did enjoy the ending of Backlash 2008 with their match being a Last Man Standing there, and this was Last Man Standing, so both of those worked pretty good. So hopefully with those 3 stipulations, we'll see something good this Sunday. And I'm pretty sure that all the 3 stages of hell that has happened, Triple H has been in every single one. He was in the one in 2001 against Austin. He was in the one in 2003 against Shawn Michaels, and he's going to be in this one against Randy Orton in 2009, coming up at the Bash this Sunday. So hopefully it'll be an enjoyable match. Like I said, if they can pull off what they did here, it should be enjoyable. Then the next matchup, before the next matchup, they did a thing with Donald Trump coming out there, talking to the fans, and announcing, I've had offers from other people to buy Monday Night Raw for double the cost, and then saying, Vince McMahon comes out there, and Vince McMahon says, I heard rumors you're going to start trying to do no commercial at all on Monday Night Raw, commercial free all the time. Vince McMahon's pretty much saying, how much money that's going to make me lose. And then Vince McMahon gives him an offer, says he'll buy back Monday Night Raw, double the cost. So thankfully the whole Donald Trump thing's over. And the whole Donald Trump thing on this show, he did like 3-4 minutes at the beginning of this segment kind of dragged on a little bit, but it was fairly short considering what they could have probably dragged it out for. They probably could have dragged it out for 20 minutes, but they probably only dragged it out for about 10 minutes at best. And obviously this just like last Monday Night Raw, obviously get WWE a little media attention right here with this. Some of the media, hopefully this time, will not be as dumb as they were last week and actually know, yes, this is a storyline. This is not actually Vince McMahon paying double the price. This is just a part of a storyline, but yet some media outlets probably be dumb enough to actually buy into this and say Donald Trump got more money out of here and he actually sold back Vince McMahon Monday Night Raw, because I'll expect some media outlet to actually be that dumb. Then the next matchup was a 6 Diva tag team match. It was Mickie James teaming up with the Bella Twins versus Maurice, Rosa Mendez, and Beth Phoenix. And for a Divas match here, it was what you would expect. You know, nothing that special at all. But they definitely are building up to, I guess, a Mickie James and Maurice match at the Night of Champions, because obviously it's not going to be at the pay-per-view this upcoming Sunday, since they got the match with Melina versus Michelle McCool. So you know they're not going to have two Divas titles matches or 2 women's titles matches on a pay-per-view, other than, you know, obviously the pay-per-view Night of Champions, just because, you know, the stipulation of that is all the titles in WWE are on the line, so that's the one time you'll see, you know, tag titles, U.S. title, IC title, all the World Championships, and the 2 women's titles on the line at the same pay-per-view. For a women's match, this was good, good and solid. You know, it's fairly short, like you would expect. Nothing really too special about it. And Mickie James picks up the victory. Mickie James picks up the victory on Rosa Mendez in this match. And then the main event of this show was John Cena versus Big Show. Pretty much the typical John Cena and Big Show match. Big Show dominates John Cena. This match, actually, John Cena got a little more offense than some other occasions they took on each other. Then at the end of this match, John Cena was about to hit the attitude adjustment to Big Show. The Miz comes out there, costs John Cena the match, and Big Show pretty much lands on John Cena, and that's the end of that match after he gets out of the attitude adjustment. So Big Show wins this match right here. So obviously good build up to the Miz versus John Cena from the beginning segment. Then the end of the show pretty much was, you know, Miz and John Cena. Then after Miz came in there, did the "You Can't See Me" to John Cena, a little hand gesture to him. They cut to backstage with Randy Orton, and Triple H attacked him. There was a car that had the trunk open. It looked like, you know, you're expecting Randy Orton get thrown into it, and maybe Triple H drive away, and like they'll build up what happened to Randy Orton, what's going to be of him this Sunday. But no, they didn't do that. They just had Triple H throw him in there for a second and kind of have him in a position where Triple H closed the trunk on his back, and it just ended with Triple H pretty much saying, "You haven't seen the last of this," and pretty much, you know, I'll beat the living hell out of you this Sunday, and that's the way Raw goes off there. But overall, for a Raw that was clocked in about 2 hours and probably 10 minutes commercial free, it was very good, I would say. Even the John Cena and Big Show match, it was solid. You know, since it wasn't pay-per-view, I can actually say it was okay to be on, you know, a Monday Night Raw. It's definitely okay if you put a match like that on Raw, just not pay-per-view. That's the problem I had with the Big Show and Cena matches. Not that they were, you know, some of the worst matches ever, but just because they weren't, you know, matches you would expect to be on pay-per-view, and they could obviously, you know, do better probably with John Cena and probably even Big Show. You probably could even do a little better than that. But definitely I am looking forward to the Bash this Sunday. You got, you know, the 3 stages of hell. If they can perform like they did tonight, that should be good. You got John Cena and The Miz. Definitely interested in that match. The one match I'm probably looking forward to the most are the 2 SmackDown matches. The CM Punk match versus Jeff Hardy for the World Heavyweight Championship. And then you got the Mass versus title match, the IC Championship match with Chris Jericho versus Rey Mysterio. So that should be good. So just wanted to come on here, give my thoughts on Monday Night Raw, just because, you know, overall I enjoyed this show, and I would definitely say if you didn't check out Monday Night Raw, I would definitely say if you can, you know, find some means of watching it, if you DVR'd it, if you have it on, you know, if you recorded it on DVD or something, or if you just find it online, just watch it that way, because it definitely is worth watching this Monday Night Raw, because I definitely would say this is one of the better Monday Night Raws in a long, long time. I would love to see Raw be like this every week, but obviously I know it's not. Coming probably next week on Monday Night Raw, will go back to the level, it was before, you know, the 3-hour special. Because I actually thought the 3-hour special last week was pretty solid as well. So you had actually 2 good back-to-back Monday Night Raws. One, you know, pretty solid last week, and this one, very good Monday Night Raw, I gotta say, especially since I was expecting a complete clusterfuck. So, yeah, that's it for my thoughts on Monday Night Raw, and yeah, peace. You know, versus The Miz is going to be happening, so thankfully, you know, we're going to see John Cena in a match other than him taking on Big Show, and this is definitely going to do wonders for The Miz right here. Obviously, John Cena is going to go over this Sunday. I cannot see The Miz beating him, or if The Miz actually does beat him in a very, you know, he'll beat him, you know, in a way where, you know, he'll use, you know, hold on to the tights, use a weapon behind the referee's back, and just pin him that way. But I highly doubt that will happen. Maybe see the Miz come out there after John Cena calls him out. You see a very good segment between John Cena and the Miz. I really overall enjoyed this segment right here. It was actually one of those segments that, you know, started the show and it went, you know, a little past 15 minutes, but it actually was, you know, a good, enjoyable segment. It's building up to a match that's happening at the Bash pay-per-view this coming Sunday, which should be a pretty interesting match. And see, I'm definitely interested to see how it's going to be. John Cena did have some stars from SmackDown. Now they were going to have stars from ECW, but they didn't have any ECW talent on this show. But overall, it was pretty solid Raw. Now, what it started off with, obviously with Donald Trump starting the show off with. Fairly short with him, so that was good, you know, short and sweet with him. Then after that, John Cena comes out there, pretty much introduces the fans to the commercial-free Raw. Then you start up, this is my WWE Monday Night Raw thoughts and review of Raw that just went off there. And pretty much just give my review and thoughts on this just because it was like a special Raw. So anyone expecting me to do, you know, weekly Raw reviews, don't expect that. I pretty much only give, you know, my thoughts on Raw if something big happens, or, you know, they do a 3-hour special, or something like tonight where you had, you know, a special type stipulation for it where it was, you know, no commercials at all, non-commercial, commercial free. And overall, before this show, I was expecting this show to be a complete clusterfuck. I was not expecting anything from the show. I thought it was just going to be a complete bore of 2 hours. But actually, this Raw really shocked me how good it was. If Raw was this good every week, WWE would be very good, and Raw would be probably one of the top shows if Raw could actually produce stuff what they did tonight on a constant basis week after week. But obviously, this show